Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is taking cortisone for their arthritis. It relieves their pain. It lets them move. It gives them their life back. The drug that makes this possible was once so expensive that only the wealthy could afford it. One man figured out how to make it from a soybean, cheap enough for everyone. His name was Percy Julian, and almost nobody knows it. He was born in 1899 in Montgomery, Alabama, the grandson of enslaved people. There were no high schools open to black students in Montgomery. When other boys his age graduated high school, Percy had never set foot inside one. At 17, he applied to DePaul University in Indiana. They accepted him as a sub-freshman. He had to take high school classes at night while studying university courses during the day. He was essentially doing two educations at once, while everyone else was just starting. In 1920, Percy Julian graduated, first in his class, valedictorian. His own professors advised him not to apply for graduate school. They said other scientists would never accept a black colleague. He took a teaching job at a black college and waited. In 1923, he won a fellowship to Harvard, one of the finest universities in the world. He earned straight A's. He finished at the top of every class. Then Harvard told him he could not continue to a PhD. White students, they said, would not accept being taught by a black instructor. He returned to teaching at black colleges, still waiting, still building. In 1929, he received a fellowship to the University of Vienna in Austria. For the first time in his life, Percy Julian was simply a scientist. Not a black scientist, just a scientist. He wrote home saying that for the first time, research felt as natural as eating a meal. In 1931, he earned his Ph.D., one of the first African Americans to do so in chemistry. Back at DePaul, he became obsessed with a small purple bean, the Calabar bean. Scientists knew it contained a compound called physostigmine, used to treat glaucoma. The problem was that extracting it from the bean was nearly impossible to do at scale. People were going blind waiting. The most famous chemist in Britain, Sir Robert Robinson, had already published a synthesis. Percy noticed something. A single melting point figure in Robinson's paper was wrong. That meant Robinson hadn't actually done it. He had published a synthesis that didn't work. Percy ran his own synthesis, watched the melting point carefully. It matched. Exactly right. He had done it. In 1935, Percy Julian completed the world's first confirmed synthesis of physostigmine. People who would have gone blind kept their sight. Then DePaul told him he could not become a full professor because of his race. He applied to every major chemical company in America. Company after company rejected him the moment they realized he was black. DuPont apologized in writing that they had been unaware he was black. One institute in Wisconsin wanted his work, but told him the town didn't allow black people to stay overnight. Day after day, door after door, closed. Then the Glidden Company called, a paint and varnish manufacturer in Chicago, and they didn't care what color he was. They cared what he could do. At Glidden, Percy turned his attention to the soybean. During World War II, oil and gasoline fires on aircraft carriers were killing sailors faster than enemy fire. Percy developed aerofoam from soy protein. It smothered oil fires in seconds. The Navy deployed it across the Pacific. It saved hundreds of lives. Then came cortisone. In 1949, doctors announced that cortisone dramatically relieved the pain of rheumatoid arthritis. But the drug required a 36-step synthesis starting from cattle bile. It cost a fortune to produce. Percy looked at the soybean again. He saw something nobody else had noticed. He found a way to synthesize cortisone from soybean oil. Cheaper, faster, at scale. Overnight, the price of cortisone fell. Millions of people who had been suffering in silence could finally afford relief. In 1950, Chicago named him Chicagoan of the Year. He used some of his success to buy a house in Oak Park, Illinois, a quiet, wealthy suburb. The neighbors were not welcoming. The house was firebombed. A gasoline bomb planted by arsonists who did not want a black family on their street. Percy and Anna looked at the damage, and they did not move. A second attack came, this time with gunfire. The right of a people to live where they want to without fear, Percy wrote, is more important than my science. They stayed, and eventually, the neighborhood accepted them. In 1953, Percy left Glidden and founded his own company, Julian Laboratories. He made a point of hiring scientists of color, giving others the chances he had never been given. In 1961, he sold Julian Laboratories for $2.3 million. Over his lifetime, he earned 88 patents and received honorary degrees from universities that had once refused to teach him. In 1973, he was elected to the National Academy of Sciences, one of the most prestigious honors in American science. Near the end of his life, Percy gave a speech about what his country had cost him. "I feel that my own good country robbed me," he said. "I have been perhaps a good chemist, but not the chemist that I dreamed of being." He died in 1975, 75 years old. The drugs he synthesized are still on pharmacy shelves today, used by millions. A school in Chicago bears his name. Most of the children who walk through its doors have never heard his story. He started with a purple bean and a country that told him he was worth less than the white men around him. He proved them wrong in a laboratory. He proved them wrong in a courtroom. He proved them wrong on a burning street in Oak Park. And every person alive today who can see or move without pain or whose mother didn't miscarry may owe something to the chemist America tried its hardest not to create.